Hello, friends from all around the world. It is your buddy Keith here at Essex Recording Studios, just outside London in England. And today we've got an exceptionally rare guitar. I'm really proud of this one. I drove about 6 hours round trip to get it, and I've never seen one quite like it. It's a 1976 Gibson Les Paul Standard Deluxe Honeyburst. And I'll tell you why we call it a Standard Deluxe. I've done a little bit of research on this guy. Very, very special guitar. Only a handful of these ever made during a transition year for Gibson. First, let's take a look at what we're dealing with on the top. You've got this beautiful maple honeyburst top with some nice bird's eye in the finish. The guitar looks virtually unplayed. I mean, it's crazy to think that this thing's 42 years old. The case looks awesome. All of the latches work. There's no, like rust or corrosion. Everything is right. A few little minor, you can't even really see it here. Minor indentations. Is that one? No, there's one right there. Indentations in the lacquer. There's another one there. Maybe one right there. Very, very, very minor. Could use a little polish on the pickup cover, but you're going to expect a little bit of patina on a 42-year-old guitar. Otherwise, you'd start getting suspicious. Look at the binding. I mean, the binding is in great shape. Usually, they have hairlined cracks everywhere. There's a couple. There's a little guy. I don't even know if you can see that. Just barely. But overall, just tremendous condition here. I'm going to take the guitar out of the case. We're going to give it a further look, and we're going to look at this case some more because, my God, is it awesome. Look at that storage compartment. You can see why Gibson doesn't make them like this anymore, because if they did, they'd be bankrupt. Although in today's news, it sounds like they're kind of heading that way. Really crazy-looking models released all over Facebook. They're doing like a 70s station wagon tribute. Really funky colors, but this is the real deal, guys. I don't know why you would buy a new custom shop standard for like £4,000 or £5,000 with some crazy finish or, like what we were just talking about there, when you can get the real deal time capsule straight from 1976. I'll give you some history on this too. This guitar came from Manny's Guitar Shop on Sunset Boulevard in Los Angeles. A famous guitar shop where all the stars have shopped. Lots of famous stories about famous guitarists who've bought guitars there, who've joined bands and had their first major guitar bought for them. And this was part of his collection in the back, apparently, and was bought by a British artist who I got this from, and it's just been stored in its case for most of its life. Look at the case, 42-year-old case. This thing looks virtually unblemished. I mean, if you didn't know, I just told you, this thing's like 3 years old. You'd say, okay. So let's open her up. Reminds me of my Italian grandmother's carpet in New York. She has not redecorated since this guitar was made. Gorgeous case. Back to the guitar. So why did I call it a Standard Deluxe? Well, you see it's got full-size pickups, and if we look on the truss rod cover, it's called a Standard, and it's, by looking at it, it's clearly a Standard. But on the back, which is also gorgeous, you've got this 5-piece neck, and you can see the serial number there. It's a 00 to 76. Les Paul Deluxe. So 00130-989. My understanding is the last three numbers, based on what I was reading last night. If it's over 500, so it's 989 here. it is a Nashville-made guitar, and if it's under 500, it's a Kalamazoo, Michigan-made guitar. You can see the finish on the neck. Let me just adjust this lighting here. Is incredible. Absolutely stunning. Original Gibson Deluxe tuners. And then the back is just an amazing condition. You can see a few little divots in the clear coat there. But out of all of the 70s Gibsons I've ever seen, this is the best condition one, with the nicest top, the nicest back, the nicest finish. And yeah, so what I was reading is it was a transition year where the standard was being brought back, and there's some people online that have said they have Les Paul Deluxe, and essentially it was a Deluxe that had been modified and routed out for larger humbuckers, and then maybe the truss rod cover was changed. And then there's a few experts have weighed in and said there were a handful of standards that were labeled, essentially they were Deluxe standards. And the only way you can check is by removing the pickup covers and checking the routing. And I did this one last night. And sure enough, the routing is all factory. So you get a little piece of Gibson history here. Highly, highly collectible, and one of the most iconic finishes ever. You just can't get anything better than that. You can't put a price on something like this, as far as, the only way you get this condition is by hopping in a time machine and going back to 1976. See what I mean about the hinges on the case, where there's like no wear and corrosion on it? All the latches are present and work. And sorry about the mess over here, but we've had a huge collection of about, 12 guitars come in from another company in London. But this one, I made, like I said, a 6-hour trip to go and get individually because it was so nice. And the guy had it sold. He had it sold for over £3,000 to a guy in Spain, but he was very, very clear that the guitar was collection only. He would not ship this guitar. Didn't feel comfortable and confident shipping it out of the country. I've had a guitar get lost once or twice, unfortunately, being shipped out of the country. So I got a deal, but I had to drive straight to the guy to get it. Now we have it here at the studio. It's something you can record with. It's something that we will have available for sale soon. And if you're interested in it, just hop on over to Facebook. We're Essex Recording Studios. Shoot us a message. Give us a call. Our phone number's there. If you're international, hit us up on WhatsApp. It's no problem. It's also up on our website, www.essexrecordingstudios.com. Hosted by our good friends at Reverb, which is where a lot of you will be seeing this video. We get a lot of hits off Reverb. Other than that, guys, I hope you got as much of a kick out of this as I did, and I hope it gives you a good idea of what a 76 Les Paul Standard Deluxe looks like, and gives you a little bit of education about some interesting history behind Gibson. We'll go look at that serial number one more time before I sign off here, and take a look at this neck again. It's just totally beautiful. We did just get a 78 Les Paul Standard, and they have a 3-piece neck, but this one's got a 5-piece, and in my opinion is just a much nicer guitar. You can see kind of the circle, the oval around the sticker here, and that's what an authentic serial number should look like. For 3 years, if you go to the Gibson serial number checker, I think it's either 75, 76, and 77, or 76, 77, 78. They changed their serial number format, and it was 9900 and I think 11 or something like that. It's only those 3 years. Don't ask me why they did it that way. And they did it with a sticker. After this, I think it was 78 8, they did the stamped serial number up there. But if you do the Gibson serial number checker on these years, most of the times it doesn't show up, or there's an error or something like that because of that number, the nomenclature convention changing there. But if you go on the forums and whatnot, you can see that it's totally correct. And if you spend more than a second looking at this thing, you can tell just from the construction, the wood, the patina, and everything else, it's completely 100% legit. Cool, guys. That's the vintage Gibson Les Paul for you. 76. Please subscribe to the channel. The family's growing. It's going tremendous right now. We've got, I think, 225 subscribers. Just been going for a couple months. It was only the other day we had 20 subscribers, and everyone's contributing a lot of knowledge. You know, I don't know everything, and you'll see something on this guitar where super knowledgeable Gibson guy will pop out and give us, you know, a whole essay on the history of the 76 and the Deluxe and the Standard and yada, yada, yada. And it's great, you know. Sometimes I see some interesting construction techniques on a guitar, and I ask people, hey, you know, who works on guitars? Who's a luthier? Who's got some info on what this is about? And people show up from all over the world, and they give a lot of insight into these guitars. So we're building a community. We're building a family. It's awesome. We got new guitar videos coming up pretty much every day. You'll see guitars you'll love. You'll see guitars you're not interested in. Just skip those videos. But give us a like on the video. Click subscribe and go over to Facebook. It's Essex Recording Studios. Like us there. Go over to Instagram too. We posted this on a video last night. Go to Instagram. We're at Essex Recording Studios. And follow us there. We'll follow you back, guys. Coming up next is going to be, what are we going to do? I've got a vintage, I think it's a 1987 Fender Strat, black, American, that has lived in its case for the past 24 years and was barely played before that. That thing looks brand new too. So that's coming up next, guys. We'll see you really soon in the next video. Take it easy. Bye.